be in no doubt those that have participated in this violence will face the full force of the law. The police will be making arrests, individuals will be held on remand, charges will follow, and convictions will follow.
UK erupts in violent riots over false far-right claims against asylum seekers. The UK is experiencing its most severe riots in over a decade after far-right groups falsely accused immigrant of the recent stabbing deaths of 3 young girls in Southport. This misinformation has sparked widespread anti-immigration sentiments, leading to violent attacks on hotels housing asylum seekers in northern England, particularly in Rotherham and Tamworth. Rioters have set fires, broken windows, and used makeshift weapons, resulting in injuries to police officers and significant property damage. The violence has been condemned by Prime Minister Keir Starmer, who labeled it as organized violent thuggery, and vowed that those involved would face severe legal consequences. The riots present a significant challenge for Starmer's newly formed Labour government, which is implementing emergency security measures to protect vulnerable communities and restore order amidst the rising far-right extremism and misinformation. Bangladesh protesters call for march to Dhaka in defiance of nationwide curfew. Protesting students in Bangladesh have called for a march to the capital Dhaka on Monday, defying an indefinite nationwide curfew imposed by the government. This move follows deadly clashes on Sunday that resulted in nearly 100 deaths. The violence erupted as police used tear gas and rubber bullets to disperse tens of thousands of protesters. Armored personnel carriers and troops patrolled the streets of Dhaka on Monday, with minimal civilian traffic visible. The protests began last month over a controversial quota system in government jobs and have since escalated into demands for Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's resignation. The unrest, which saw at least 91 fatalities on Sunday alone, marks the highest single-day death toll from protests in Bangladesh's recent history. The government has also suspended railway services and closed the country's large garments industry. So far, at least 300 people have died and thousands have been injured since the violence started, with Sunday's toll including at least 13 policemen. In response to the escalating crisis, the government declared the nationwide curfew starting at 6 p.m. on Sunday and announced a 3-day general holiday starting from Monday. The U.S. expected to propose ban on Chinese software in autonomous vehicles. The U.S. Commerce Department is set to propose a rule that would ban the use of Chinese software in autonomous and connected vehicles operating in the United States, specifically targeting those with Level 3 automation and above. This proposed rule, part of a broader effort to address national security concerns, would also prohibit the testing of autonomous vehicles produced by Chinese companies on U.S. roads. Additionally, vehicles equipped with Chinese-developed advanced wireless communications modules would be barred. Automakers and suppliers would need to ensure that their vehicle software is not developed by entities considered foreign adversaries, such as China. The proposed regulations are expected to be issued in the coming weeks, following earlier indications from the Commerce Department about impending rules on connected vehicle technologies. Torrential rains take over 150 lives in China in the last 2 months. In the past 2 months, landslides and flooding caused by torrential rainstorms have claimed more than 150 lives across southern China. The latest disaster occurred in Sichuan province's mountainous Tibetan area, where a flood and mudslide early Saturday killed 8 people and left 19 missing. The village of Raidi saw homes destroyed, 6 fatalities, and additional casualties when a bridge collapse caused vehicles to plunge into a gorge. China, currently in its peak flood season, faces increasing severe weather, with an annual climate report highlighting a rise in extreme precipitation and heat. Several deadly rainstorms have been reported since June, underscoring the urgent need for enhanced disaster preparedness. Hurricane Debbie to bring heavy rains, severe flooding to Florida and Georgia. Hurricane Debbie, the 4th named storm of the 2024 Atlantic hurricane season, is set to reach Florida's Big Bend coast early Monday, potentially causing record-setting rains, catastrophic flooding, and life-threatening storm surge. Currently located about 100 miles west of Tampa with sustained winds of 75 miles per hour, Debbie is moving north at 12 miles per hour. The National Hurricane Center has issued warnings for heavy rainfall, which could lead to severe flooding in Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina. Expected to make landfall around midday Monday, the storm also poses a tornado risk in parts of Florida and Georgia. This comes after the region was previously impacted by Hurricane Idalia last year. Residents are taking precautions to secure property and move boats inland in anticipation of the storm's impact. Could Israel's war enter a new phase today if Iran and Hezbollah strike? The conflict between Israel and Iran stands on the brink of a significant escalation following the assassination of Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran. This killing has provoked Iran and its allies, Hamas and Hezbollah, to vow severe retaliation, with threats of coordinated attacks on Israel from multiple fronts. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has warned that such an assault could begin as early as Monday, potentially involving Hezbollah from Lebanon, the Houthis from Yemen, and direct Iranian intervention. The situation is further inflamed by the recent killing of a senior Hezbollah leader in Lebanon, which Hezbollah's leader Hassan Nasrallah has declared has pushed the conflict into a new phase. In response, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has affirmed the country's preparedness for a multi-front conflict and stated that Israel is ready for any scenario, despite Israel's denial of involvement in Haniyeh's death. This series of events has raised fears of a broader, more violent confrontation in the region. Is Kim Jong-un's delivery of 250 nuclear-capable missile launchers a sign of escalated threat? North Korea has recently marked the delivery of 250 nuclear-capable missile launchers to its frontline units, a move that leader Kim Jong-un claims will significantly enhance his military's firepower against South Korea. The launchers, designed to fire tactical ballistic missiles with potential nuclear capabilities, are part of North Korea's broader strategy to expand its nuclear arsenal and improve its deterrence against perceived threats, particularly from the U.S. Kim's statements reflect a commitment to advancing North Korea's military capabilities while aiming to pressure the U.S. into accepting North Korea as a nuclear power and lifting international sanctions. This development comes amid heightened military activities by the U.S., South Korea, and Japan, as well as North Korea's efforts to leverage global tensions to advance its weapons program. Is the Musk-backed America PAC violating Michigan laws? The Musk-backed America PAC is under investigation by Michigan officials for potential violations of state laws. The PAC, which has been collecting detailed voter information from Michigan residents through its Register to Vote section, is being scrutinized to determine if it has breached state regulations. While the PAC operates federally, Michigan's Department of State is reviewing its activities and may refer findings to the state attorney general. The investigation is focused on ensuring transparency regarding how personal data is used by political organizations. Are thieves exploiting the Wyandotte landslide disaster? In Wyandotte, a troubling development has emerged as thieves disguised as volunteers are targeting homes abandoned due to recent landslides. The thefts have been reported at several properties from which residents were evacuated, particularly around the severely affected areas of Churamala and Mundakai. To address the issue, authorities have established 6 anti-theft squads to enhance security. Furthermore, the government has imposed new restrictions, requiring outsiders to register before accessing the landslide sites starting Sunday. This measure aims to curb unauthorized entry and prevent further theft. Evacuated residents have been relocated to relief camps or safer areas, and thefts have also been reported near the construction site of a Bailey Bridge. The situation highlights the need for stringent controls to protect both the disaster-stricken communities and their property. Why are global voices concerned about arrests in Venezuela following the election? Global concern has escalated over the rising number of arrests in Venezuela following last weekend's contested elections. Pope Francis remarked that Venezuela is in a critical situation and appealed for all parties to seek the truth and avoid violence. President Nicolas Maduro revealed that the government has detained 2,000 opponents and vowed to make more arrests. U.S. Deputy National Security Advisor John Feiner expressed fears that these detentions could lead to broader instability. European leaders, including those from France, Spain, Germany, and Italy, have condemned the arrests and emphasized the need to respect the rights of Venezuelans, especially political figures, during this period.